timing. So so let the whole recording go, even if you're not completely finished with it.
So then we should just freestyle.
No, we should just listen and come up
shablam.
with something, and that's it.
Okay.
Shablam.
I'm a freestyle regardless, you know.
So I just need to know, so we get a sense of how long it is, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna be fine.
Me personally, when I dance, I don't know, I just feel free. Like when I dance, like how I dance is like you gotta feel free. If you don't, you're gonna be stiff. And so I like act like I don't got a heart, I don't got a body, I don't got a brain, just wild out and just dance.
My family is very Christian oriented, and they think that, oh, you're gonna go to hell or it's a sin to be gay, and they like disown me basically and say like they still love me, but when I come around them I can't dress like this. I have to be, hide myself and be just basically on the down low, but that's not who I am, so it's like real hard.
I just told them you have to deal with it. I'm gonna be me. Either you like what you see or you just get out of my life, because I'm not gonna stop living my life just because you want me to be a certain way.
Then it fades out.
So when Glass started out in years ago with Terry DiCrescenzo, we had kids that were mostly runaways, gay kids, lesbian kids that had been kicked out of their homes. They'd come into the city and they'd have no place to go. So Terry started Glass and had these residences for the kids to have long-term runaway facilities, and the kids could stay up to 2 years. I think part of the tribe too with these kids is, for the gay kids, yes, it still is kind of a ghetto in a big city, but they see that there are choices to be made. It isn't just Santa Monica, it isn't just Hollywood, and the kids are very, very outspoken about that, because these kids come from South Central, they come from the East Side, they come from Long Beach, they come from not, upwardly mobile class of gay people that are at the center of the city here in Hollywood. And so they're learning about tribe being as different as they are. These kids have never had the model of what is the average. So for them, the only thing they have to fall back on is their own authenticity. That's where their power and their strength, what little power they have in the mainstream society, that's where it comes from. And I think that that's the basis, don't you, of spirituality and also of art. You're always seeking to find your authentic self, your authentic voice. Well, these kids were never taught that they had to seek it. It was their source of strength.
Go ahead. Oh, that's hot. Yeah. That's it.
Chop! Yes!
Look what you done. Can I get their shirts?
We met very briefly when you came in. You gave
Justin.
Hey, Justin. So you're doing spoken word poems?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you write them for a particular project or just for your own, whether for school or a school
I don't know.
project?
Usually I just write my poems after something scares me or something.
All right.
Stuff.
But you've never really performed in public?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right.
Actually.
Does that scare you a little bit?
Kinda. With the things everywhere.
Just stand up and so you get a little comfortable
Okay.
being on the stage.
This one?
You're great. Yeah, read that one first.
Okay.
Okay?
I wrote this poem after my last doctor's visit, when my doctor told me that I have 318 T cells and that I was going to have to go on meds soon. And I don't know, I was scared. And I call this helpless to stay alive.
I don't know. What is it like being 21 having HIV? It's... When I'm sitting in class, in my sociology class, taking notes, I'm not a 21-year-old gay man with HIV. I'm a student. When I am, when I'm watching TV, you know, I'm not like a 21-year-old gay man. I am just this guy on the couch watching TV.
Okay.
The only time that I really feel like I'm living with HIV is when I'm going to the doctor, then I have HIV. When I'm writing, or when I'm out on a date with someone, you know, I have HIV. I guess that's kind of why I don't like going out on dates with people. You know, that's why I'd just rather have friends, because when I'm hanging out with my friends, I don't have HIV. And if I do, it's just, you know, in passing mention. If I'm on a date, then it's a thing, you know? I am kind of scared, though, about the next time I go see the doctor. I think he's going to put me on meds. And I'm really worried about that. Because, what if all of a sudden I can't go to school anymore for some reason? I fail another class and I can't go next semester. But that's not right now.
Stephen Liang, in kind of returning call game right now, he's spoken word and film, so I have to figure out what he is exactly. You ready for Stephen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stephen?
Hey, Stephen, how are you?
This one's called No, Don't Do That, Do This. No, don't do that, do this. No, wipe that smile off your face. Boys don't smile. Yeah, look mean like you're constipated or something. Yeah, do that. No, don't walk like that. Walk like this. Yeah, your arms should be slightly away from your thighs to make you look bigger. Yeah, walk with your feet pointing outward and bend your knees more. Don't cross your legs like that. Don't do that. Yeah, sit with your legs wide open, just like that. Spread them. No, don't giggle. Girls giggle. Yeah, laugh when people are made fun of. No, don't hug a guy like that. He's a guy, and guys who hug each other are gay. Yeah, slap him on the back, just like that. No, don't cry. Yeah, you're tough. Boys are supposed to be that way because boys are made up of baggy jeans, fast cars, football, and weights. No, don't do that. Do this.
Very nice. What else? Thank you. Very nicely done.
Mom, I want you to know that I'm different. You said I was not normal before, but I don't think so. I'm just different, and I've always been. Middle school was a time of confusion, despair, and denial. I hated it. I turned to God and prayed to Him every night with the Bible beside me. Every night I told God, Lord, please don't let me die of AIDS, then please make me straight. I know you don't understand me, but some of the things you say and do hurt so much. Do you remember when we were driving home the weekend after Thanksgiving, Dad? The sun was just setting. We had our first conversation about homosexuality. You said, AIDS is a big problem because of gays. Gay men sleep with other men while sleeping with their wives. Gay people are against God. Gay people choose to be that way. It is simply not normal. Though I knew you weren't targeting me, I felt like you were sucker punching me with every blunt statement. Mom, during the summer of 9th grade, I typed up a false permission slip and had you sign it. Really, I was preparing for my first gay pride parade with people I met over the internet. Pride changed my life. It made me accept myself for the first time. When I came out in 9th grade, I felt like a bird that has just been released from its cage, free.
Like I've always sort of had to live somewhat of like a double life type thing, cause like I have to totally hide it with my parents, and I know that now it's not the right time. I mean, you know, what is the like, you know, what is there a right time, you know? I'm pretty sure they'll take it really, really harshly. They have all these expectations for me, you know, like the whole, like getting married with a Chinese girl and having a really good career and having kids. And it's funny because I do want all of that. I want to get married and I want to have kids and I want to have a stable career, but just not with a woman.
When you were younger, what kind of, if it had been available, if there had been older gay people as mentors available, what kind of help did you need?
I mean, not until high school did I find teachers who were willing to say that, you know, I'm gay and if you, like, you know, basically I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so important, but it's not, like, and sexual education too. I was so angry because in 5th grade they split you up boy and girl, and then they talk about like your sexuality and, you know, how babies are created and whatnot. They don't talk about gay sex, and they should. They really should. In 5th grade, you should talk about, you know, how people of the same gender have sex.
Stephen was an inspiration, I think, is the biggest word that comes to mind for me, both to other students and to teachers. He did want to run for prom queen, and he submitted his paperwork. The mere turning in of the petition stirred, you know, what's the phrase, ruffled some feathers up there in the office.
I mean, I didn't feel like a gender was necessary for that title, you know? Like, and in the end, I argued it in several ways. Like I said, what if there was a transgendered person trying to run for something, or what if, like, I mean, it's like complete discrimination, you know? At first it was like a joke, but I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do this. And then it became like it turned into like my like idea of like social activism, and I became really attached to that, and it became really serious and personal for me.
How did the other students react?
Most people supported me.
Yeah.
Actually, I think everyone supported me except for some people at the executive board, because they're like power hungry, and they're like jerks. Okay, like a member of the executive board actually told me, if you run for queen, you'll ruin people's prom, because there'll be 2 queens, or 2 kings or whatever. So.
So I used to live here, at this apartment here. This was back in the before time.
What's the before time?
I used to be on large amounts of crystal meth. I'm not anymore, though.
Okay.
But I moved in here with a drug dealer. I never went out on my balcony much, but then again, I never went outside much because I was always like high on drugs. I would go weeks sometime without leaving. One of the first places that I went when I started leaving my apartment was the grocery store down there. I would go down there and I would buy like 8 bags of Milano cookie and a gallon of milk. I remember there was this one time for a month, all I ate was Milano cookies.
Nothing else? No meat, no vegetables, no fruit, nothing?
Just Milano cookies.
Cookies and milk?
Yeah.
Wow, and drugs.
And drugs. Oh, well, let me tell you, don't go on the Milano cookie diet. Like, I went through like horrible shit for like the money to get drugs. Like, I did like things that weren't very fun. So I really feel like, you know, I don't know, ever since I quit doing drugs, I've always felt like, you know, I have something to say. You know, if I could like just do anything, I would want to reach people who are like me and say that there are other people like me out there, because I met one other person like me, you know. One other formerly drug addicted, you know, disease-ridden ex-prostitute.
Wow.
Yeah, just one other, who was 21.
Was this your first place in LA?
Yeah.
So you came from where, from Simi Valley to here?
Well, no, I came from, no, I mean, I lived with a boyfriend of mine in West LA for a little while beforehand, and then I moved back in with my parents for a little bit, and then I decided it wasn't working, you know. They were Mormon and I was a drug addict. Okay. Doesn't work. My sobriety begins in the Cedar-Sinai Hospital emergency room. I remember looking at the heart monitor with it going 165, and I remember these people around me injecting me with things. And I remember believing, I'm dead. I'm dying right now. But I didn't die. And since then, I haven't used any drugs. Well, I drink sometimes, but...
So this may seem like a silly question, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you glad you didn't die?
Am I glad I didn't? Oh, definitely. I mean, death is kind of like one of those forever things, you know? And I'm totally not ready for that kind of commitment.
Initially, I told him, you know, if you're gonna start using crystal meth, you're gonna lose me, because I wasn't about to deal with that shit. And I basically pointed out that how like all of his friends would be horribly disappointed and how he was doing so well. But the one thing I do remember clearly about the whole thing is I gave him his stuff. I told him he should go home and think about what he's done. No, and I walked him to his car, and he's holding his stuff. And at this point, I guess something clicked, and he kind of looks up and, like, in one last futile stab to argue his point, he was like, you know, you can't tell me how to live my life. And I looked, I'm like, I'm not telling you how to live your life, Justin. I'm choosing how to live mine.
I remember that line.
And he looked, and he's like, touche.
Chris doesn't, you know, he's never thrown me away. Everyone else has always thrown me away. You know, my parents a couple times have thrown me away. My sister threw me away. Lots of people have thrown me away, but not him.
I admire Justin, actually. He's just out there by the fucking seat of his pants, just doing everything and anything just because, you know, it's what he wants to do. And he will live more in a month than I will in a year.
Crystal meth problem in our community is very real. And I myself struggled with that for a number of years. And it was actually Don Kilhefner who sat me down one afternoon and said, you have a problem and you need to get help. And he helped me find that help. This experience of being on the Rise Up and Shout committee for the last year has really brought back a lot of very personal and meaningful issues for me. And it's allowed me to reconnect in a very meaningful way with who I am. It's helped me find my voice.
It's wigs and stripper shoes. This is where I got my wig, yeah. These wigs are insane. And I could use that one, actually.
The George Washington thing?
Yeah, for kind of a little bit more of a casual look. You know, everybody says that there's no center to Los Angeles, but I'm pretty convinced that the center to Los Angeles is Hollywood.
So tell me about the costume. Let's go toe to head.
Oh dear. Well, they're just motorcycle boots that I sprayed with spray adhesive and shook glitter onto.
Okay.
The tights I got at a stripper store on Hollywood Boulevard. The pants are bondage pants that I cut off. The vest is from St. Vincent de Paul.
Okay.
This is from the Garment District. This I made. This is some like Russian rat. And that about does it. I'm not exactly rock and roll, you know. I'm more opera. I mean, one, it's a little bit more acceptable for a rock and roll audience to listen to me sing the way that I do when I dress like this, because if I just stood up on stage in a tuxedo with my hand on a piano, but I enjoy dressing like this. It's the old adage, give a man a mask and he'll tell you the truth, which I think is very true for Prince Poppycock. I think that dressing up like this does